Hello.
And welcome to follow Everton's reaction to Everton's win at Huddersfield. Let's get straight to it with Mabsy, who's just been the game and come out. Mabsy, what are you thinking?
Fucking shite performance, but at the end of the day, let's be honest, all we need to do was win and we won. So it is
I
what
mean,
it is.
it wasn't great, was it? I mean, I was watching on a stream, but you say you got to scrape through, you got to win the games. Is that the case for all the cup games? Because whenever we talk about a cup game, we say it's all about getting through. But is there a moment when it's about getting through with a bit of conviction and a bit of authority, or is it always just getting through by the
Getting
skin
through,
of your teeth?
isn't it? You got to show everything as just getting through, and we've done enough tonight. And it wasn't good, but we got through, wasn't it?
Yeah, we did. What was the atmosphere like? And was there many
Um,
fans?
yeah. Well, we sold out our allocation. They didn't. They think the total was 10. Officially, we had 2,300, but I'm sure there were more Blues there than that. So yeah, but I think they've got a lot of problems. Huddersfield. I've been speaking to a mate about it, and they've got problems with the owners and balloon payments and shit like that.
Mm.
So being spent on the owners, new owners, and they're not happy. There's a lot of discontent. But yeah, kind of. What can we take from that game? Keen shit. We scored four. We conceded 4 goals. Right, we conceded 4 fucking goals. 3 of them's been Keane's fault. 3. It's
Yeah.
not good enough. Shouldn't be playing anymore.
It's not
Um,
just that, it's goals off set pieces as well as individual errors
are
by Keane. And
you going back home or are you going to Parish? Well, so yeah,
so you're on your way back to the car now.
yeah. I'm on my way back to the car, so I'm gonna have to. Sorry for the short one.
That's okay. It's good to get your instant reaction. I think we'll invite
Sound
plenty of comments, and I'll
right.
just give a quick summary as what I
Yeah,
thought.
gotta go. Yeah, cheers.
Okie dokie. Yes, so yeah, I'm on my own tonight, which is quite unusual for me. So I'll talk as much as I can about what I thought happened, and hopefully you can give me some comments and we'll get through them. So um, I'll start with the team. What I thought. So it was a very much a change side. Had 9 changes, and that did kind of reflect in the performance. It was disjointed. I mean, we never really passed the ball with any conviction or authority and purpose anyway. So to kind of go with the second team, we're never expecting to kind of dominate the ball, especially when Huddersfield generally have played in the possession style. It was interesting to see we matched them up with a 5 at the back. It's something we touched on in the preview, whether we would adapt our system, and we did. I'm not sure whether that particularly worked. Let me know what you think. We didn't seem to really do much. I think it was more about getting the players into the system rather than playing the system that was going to work for us, especially when I want to see players like Kenny in a 4-4-2 when we're going to be playing 4-4-2. It's not really much good me looking at them as a wing back when we're predominantly not going to play like that. So yeah, I thought it wasn't great, but we got through. In terms of the goals, the first goal with Iwobi's goal, it was easy. I mean, it was too easy. We kind of strolled through. Tom Davies picks up the ball that's acres of space, threads a nice pass through, and Iwobi slots it through the keeper's legs. Good finish, 1-0 up. Let's control the game. And we did control the game for a good sort of 15 minutes after that. It was only the last 5-10 minutes of the half that they started to come back into it. And they got the corner, didn't they? They got that corner, which we were really struggling to defend for the whole night. Pretty much, we just couldn't get on top of the way that they kind of set up in terms of they kind of put all their attackers on one side of the penalty area, opposite to where the ball was coming in from, and then they'd run towards the ball, and basically our defenders are static, and we can see the soft goal again. So we've got to cut out errors like that from set pieces as well as individual errors. Um, So yeah, we've got to cut out those errors from corners. And then second half, we looked worse. We didn't come out with any sort of desire to win the game. I always look at the team and think there's no presence of goal scoring when Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin aren't in the team. Moise Keane doesn't fill me with confidence, and nor does really Iwobi and Townsend. You're looking at it thinking, where are the goals going to come from? And it looked very poor. So yeah, I was quite angry really with what I was watching. It was a frustrating night really, but at least we got through. So moving on to the second half a bit more. Let me think what actually happened in that second half, because a lot did. I know we had the red card. We had the disallowed goal I haven't mentioned in the first half, which I really do feel was onside. Moise Keane, he's level with the defender, he's pulling away, the ball gets threaded through, and it's a really good finish. And I do feel like the referee was kind of evening it out in the second half when he gave Huddersfield against when they scored from another corner. Really disappointing to see that that we didn't sort of solve the problem of the corner in the first half for the second half, and we let them do the same trick from the other side. And it, the ball's on a plate, but there's no one really attacking it, and it's just an easy header. And I can't see why it was ruled off. I'm not sure why it was ruled out, but I think that was evening it out from Moise Keane's. It should have been a goal in the first half. So you've got that, and then soon after that, we have the red card. Moise Keane, very poor. Yeah, embarrassing, really. It's just childish. He does get brought. He does get kind of clipped behind when he's on the breakaway, but he just reacts and he just overreacts, and he kind of bumps the other player. I couldn't really see it in detail, but looks like it was a kind of aggressive action. So I can see why the red card came out. And from that moment, you're thinking, where's the hope? And we did show a bit of discipline, a bit of desire to scrape that over the line with 10 men. We found a way to score. It didn't look like we were going to score. I was questioning why we took Davies off when he had the assist and arguably looked sort of the brightest in the midfield for me. And we put Gomez on. He just doesn't look fit. Like, I don't think Rafa's really looking to win that game with the way he set that team up and the way he panned out his substitutions. And then you've got no striker on the bench. You haven't even got Lewis Dobbin, just a presence, someone who knows how to play up front. I'd say Iwobi didn't do too bad considering. And we just did well to kind of get that goal. It just came out of nothing. And I'm going to give credit to Townsend for a clever finish. And we just scraped over the line. So let's have a look at the comments. We've got one from Martin. Hi, Martin, if you're still watching. I know there's quite a few watching at the moment. Not one of that starting 11 should be anywhere near first team, so poor but predictable. Yeah, it's completely true. I mean, it just shows you how poor after our first 11, how poor it gets down to. Lawrence Grant, I don't know what happened. Have you been watching the game? Let us know what you thought. Happiest. Someone's happy today. Hi. Evening, Jeff. He says it's also onside. Yeah, completely agree. Steve's a regular viewer. He says it's scrappy. We need to bring in some players. Yeah, we certainly do. We need depth. We're going to get injuries, and these players that played tonight are the ones who are going to be playing, when we get injuries. So it just shows you how poor the quality drops when we do get a few injuries. Jeff, hi Jeff. He's saying Never a red, to be honest, but his attitude is awful. I completely agree. I mean, he worries me more than James because he's young and he seems very immature and he just doesn't seem up for it. I think if James was put on the pitch, at least his quality would come out. So yeah, I really want to get him off the books if we can. Neil, hi guys, that was a lot hairier than it needed to be. I think he means harder, or maybe he does mean hairier, but I get your point. Yeah, it was so much more difficult than it had to be. We changed pretty much the entire team, and we just made it really difficult. We played 5 at the back. We invited them on. Yeah, Kevin Davies is shit, mate. So yeah, I thought Davies actually, the ball came to him. He was passing with a bit of pace on the pass, a bit of zip, a bit of intention. It was one particular one he hit first time out to the wing, out to Nkuku, trying to instigate the attack, and he got the assist. So I don't think he was that bad today. But yeah, I do agree that he's not our starting quality player. Kevin also says Keane's finish was superb, never offside. Yeah, of course, we've touched on that. Yeah, it was a very good finish. Neil again. Thanks, Neil. Begovic, pretty good. Apart from the last corner, it will be decent spells. Gabamin looked good if short of match fitness. The rest of starters not up to much. Dean, Gomez, and Gray, big impact. Yeah, I don't know how much of an impact Gomez really had. I thought he looked a bit off the pace, but he does have quality on the ball, even if he isn't match fit. I'll just go through the players a bit, because these are players that are our second string, and we don't get to see them as much as the first team. I'm not saying I want to see them because I don't really, especially on that showing. But if I just pick through it and just give my thoughts, I'll just say what I thought about them. I thought Begovic had a decent game. He did what he needed to do. He was put under pressure, I think, by Nkuku with a sloppy back pass, and he got to that, and he commanded things most of the game up to the sort of last few corners. And then you've got we played like a back three, didn't we? Holgate and Keane. I just can't deal with that anymore. It better be Mina and Godfrey on Saturday. I really hope so. It's just a liability. It just looks so shaky. And then you got Branthwaite. He looked okay. He looked solid enough. You can see he's like a young, strong. He's composed. Doesn't seem to lose his head. So, I actually think he deserves a bit more of an opportunity in these sorts of matches. And then we've got the sort of fullbacks. I thought Kenny left huge gaps. I don't know if this was a problem with the system, but when we lost the ball, there was always a huge gap behind Kenny to the right of Holgate, and we were chasing shadows out to it, which disturbed the whole back four. Not sure that 5 at the back really worked today. Kenny, he's not starting quality for me. He's just not offering enough for me. He gets the ball, he goes backwards. He doesn't offer anything really. He can't cross from tonight at all. Yeah, I don't know what to say. It would just need to get another right back in. It's a shame because obviously he's a boyhood Everton. He came through the ranks, and we're all questioning what's happening with the academy and stuff. But that's the quality of the level of the player. We're just not producing a top player at the moment in the academy, someone who could be a starter week in, week out. The closest we've got is Davies, and he's just not up to it on a sort of consistent level. And then you had Nkuku on the other side, which I think everyone can see there's talent, there's raw talent, but it is raw, and I don't know what he has in terms of his defensive game against a tougher opponent. He had a bit of a free roll, and he can whip a ball, he can beat a man. So I think there's promise for him, but he's only young. Then you got the midfield. I thought Gabamin, I don't know what everyone thought, but I think he's just missing game action. I think he looked a bit sloppy at times. He was trying to do things, over elaborate balls over the top and things when he could have played simple passes out. And I think he's just getting his match speed back. Don't think he's really ready to have a significant impact in the Premier League yet. But I think once he gets a few more minutes, he could be a useful player to change us up tactically in the Premier League. And then you got Davies. I've already said I was quite pleased with the way he played up until he got substituted. I don't know whether the two of them, I mean, we were kind of chasing shadows in the middle. Didn't seem to really work as a pair. I don't know what it was. Maybe we just needed an extra body in there. I touched on it in the preview about them playing a 3-5-2 and how maybe we needed to sort of play a 4-5-1 or I don't know, just an extra body in that midfield. We went for an extra body in the back, and I don't know if that really helped us. I think he just wanted to play Branthwaite, even though he was going to play Keane and Holgate. So I don't know. And then the attack, we had Iwobi, we had Townsend, we had Keane. They were all kind of floating around, interchangeable. Townsend, for me, he doesn't offer anything really. He just gets the ball and goes back. He's good on the cross, but if you haven't got Calvert-Lewin in, it's no good really whipping in these aerial balls. I don't see Keane out muscling somebody to win the header. I think we need another centre forward with a bit of strength who's good in the air, because if Calvert-Lewin gets injured and that's our number one game plan, then what's the backup plan? We need some sort of backup plan. Keane, he took his goal really well if it had counted, but it was shambolic what he did, lashing out. I don't know if it was a red card. I don't know if the ref was really in control of that game at all with some of the decisions. And then you got Iwobi. I thought he was bright. I thought it was a one-man attack, though, most of the game. And then you've got the substitutes. They kind of changed the game a little bit, put a bit of composure into the play. I think Huddersfield were really getting on top at that point, and the crowd were there. And we got Dean on, settled things down. We got Gray on, who's obviously going to offer a bit more of a threat. And we've got who else came on? Gomez, who's got a bit of composure. I still don't think he's match fit. I think he's been in the isolation group, and he's just come back from it, and he needs a few more training sessions and a few more minutes. So but then there's talk of him going. There's been talk of him transferring out. So I don't know what's the situation there. So I mean, that's my overall thoughts on the players as in terms of that second class group, as so to speak. I don't know who's really challenging out that group for a first team position. Maybe Iwobi on that performance. I mean, it's really hard to judge against Huddersfield, and it was overall quite a poor showing against a championship team. I'll go back to the comments before I wrap up. I think we're up to here with Neil saying sliding doors moment for Keane. If goal hadn't been incorrectly ruled out, it's 2-0. The game's over, and he probably gets a few more harsh red. Wasn't Bamford similar on Sat? But Keane must be more mature. Yeah, I mean, the Bamford Mina thing was a scrap, a bit like that one in terms of the action. So it's difficult to know whether it really was a red card. I think it could have been given as a yellow, but I think he's just seen that he got like a flash of red through his eyes, and he's kind of just got angry, and he's thought, well, I don't know if it's dangerous play. I suppose he chests him, doesn't he? I don't think it's anything to do with the face or anything. I'd have to see it a bit more closely than on a sort of pixelated stream from an aerial view. But yeah, it was a good. I thought the second goal would have put us sort of out of sight at that point. Kevin is saying Kenny's awful play and Michael Keane is a mess. Yeah, I don't want to see any of them in the team for a while. Neil's also agreeing about Keane. Surely he can't play Saturday. Heard Godfrey needed 2 weeks from the isolation point, so he might not be available. So Keane and Holgate is the real Hobson's choice. Branthwaite suspect tonight. Yeah, I've not heard that about Godfrey. That will be a shame. Maybe we won't see him till after the internationals. Yeah, I'm struggling to think of that defense with Keane or Holgate in. Yeah, I don't want to think about it. Mark, getting him out of the club is a disgrace. I'm not sure who we were talking about at the time, Mark. If you could just let us know. Neil again. Yes, Tom Davies was pretty good actually. Unlucky he had to go off in the shake-up after the red card. Yeah, I mean for me, I just don't know why he went off. I thought Gabami was off the pace. He hasn't played for 700 days, which we actually need to win that game. It's a cup match, and there's only 2 cups we're really competing for. And yeah, I felt like we had too many passengers, too many ineffective players. Kenny's offering nothing. Got the 3 centre backs who just look a liability. You got Nkuku, he's just inconsistent there. You got Keane, who just looks like he's going to shoot wide. Or you're just looking at the team thinking halfway through the game, how many players can we actually take off here? And I thought we didn't make the change when we needed to. Like there was a point where they were really getting on top of us. They scored the goal and it was disallowed. We were exceptionally lucky the goal was disallowed. And at that point, we should have made a substitution earlier, but we waited. Then we got the red card, and then everything was kind of just in consequence of that. Neil's saying agreed on our need for a powerful backup centre forward. With the wide players we have, it is a must. I'd take Rondon as a cheap option, who Rafa knows well. Yeah, I'm not sure. But Rondon, I suppose Damari Gray was on the cheap. If we can get Rondon on the cheap again, maybe he would increase our options. He'd probably be better than Tosin when he's fit. He's a powerful player, isn't he? He's strong, he's muscular, he's good in the air. So maybe he would be a good player to bring in. Mark's saying it's Keane he was talking about. Get him out of the club, he's a disgrace. Yeah, I've said before, I don't want him in the club. If we can get an offer for him, I'll get rid. He doesn't want to play for us. He's not going to show his potential with us. Yeah. Neil, Keane, Holgate, don't think about it too much, Basil. If you want to sleep at night, yeah. Well, I should have just fallen asleep in the second half instead of watching it. It's enough to watch paint dry, isn't it? And Neil saying, yes, we were unlucky with that disallowed goal of theirs. Should have made a change earlier. I agree. Yeah. I think it was very unproactive, if that's a word. Very reactive. We were getting sucked back. We were looking like we weren't in the game, wanting to win the game, getting deeper and deeper. And Stephen Grant is a fellow contributor. So typical for Everton to scrape through second round. It wouldn't be Everton otherwise. Keane has to have played his last match. Well, I thought that on Saturday when he made that dreadful error for the Leeds' first goal, but he's back on the team sheet. I can only think he's in there so that we've got an excuse to drop him on Saturday, because I don't think we drop him for 2 matches. So I really do hope. But I mean, who do you play on Saturday? Do you play Keane or do you play Mina? Who do you play with Mina? Do you play Keane or do you play Holgate? Or do you play Branthwaite? I just don't know. At least Branthwaite offers a left foot option, but he's young and he's probably too inexperienced. It's a difficult one. We need to buy a centre back really, but it's just got to look where our priorities are. Neil saying, let's hope DCL's toe is okay for Sat. Yeah, he's had that toe injury for a few weeks, so I think he'll be fine. I think it was the right thing to rest him. I might have had him on the bench if I was in charge of, if I was managing. I certainly would have left Richarlison at home like he did, giving him the night off. In the end, it's no harm. We've got through the match and win the next round, but it could so easily have gone wrong. And Mark saying, glad we're through, but I'm concerned on the big Godfrey mystery. You don't isolate for a month. Well, we saw him in training not so long ago. I'm sure he was in training when the likes of James and Gomez were not seen in the video. So maybe he's picked it up towards the end of that period where they started isolating, and he's the last one to come back. But I wouldn't be surprised now, Tuesday, Wednesday. You know, he's only going to get a couple of days in training wise. If he can play, then again, we have not had any footage, have we? Unless I'm mistaken, I've been in work before the match, so I haven't checked Everton site, but I don't know if we've had any training footage. I'm guessing not, because James was meant to return as well on Monday, so I'm not sure what's going on there. It's very hush hush, but the sooner he's back, the better. I'm going to wrap it up in a minute, unless there's any more comments. I'm pleased to see that we've made it through. I think it's really important we progress in the cups, and especially for Rafa at the moment, he's going to have a short fuse in terms of the Everton fans being on his back if we start to lose games, and especially if we start getting knocked out of the cup competitions in round 2 against lower league opposition. So it was really important to get through. You know, the players got to run out. We got to see the second string. We got to prove how sort of bad they are at the moment, and how much they can contribute to the first team. So, you know, we've learned quite a bit from that game. And that, you know, moving forward, maybe this tells us what we need to buy. Do we need a striker? Do we need a centre back? Do we need a right back? Well, we probably need them all, but which one do we need the most? And maybe it's a case of looking at what the right options on the market in terms of budget, our budget requirements. So that's it from me. I think I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to play the Luca Dean video. Please subscribe if you haven't already on YouTube. It's helping us. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers. We've only been going a few months, so we're trying to keep growing. And hopefully there'll be a preview of Brighton game. I'm away this following week, so I'm not sure I'll be contributing on the streams for a bit, but maybe I'll be on next week at some point. So that's it from me. Have a good evening. Goodbye.
It's Lucas Dean. Follow Everton.
Subscribe.
Yeah, of course.
See you later, Lucas.